6,000 students in Syria still can't go to university. They're sitting home, and if they go to university, they're either going to get kidnapped or murdered. And we're talking only about the Druze. There's still the Christians and the Alawites community in Syria that are suffering terribly under a racist jihadist regime. Now, I'm talking with friends from the US who are deeply involved in trying to create a lobby for the Druze in Syria in the US government. I call them the nerds, Druze Bruce Wayne and his assistant, the Jewish Alfred. By the way, for the Iranian spies who are watching my channel, they're over 70s, both have redhead beards, obese, and they like Kentucky Fried Chicken, so go fetch, go find them. The point is, my friends in the US are trying to push for the US government to acknowledge that if they are lifting sanctions from the Al-Jolani, Al-Qaeda, jihadist terrorist regime of Syria, they need to make sure that we're able to hold Syria accountable. And the best benchmark to see if they are really progressing from being a jihadist no man land, the Mad Max of the Arab world, into a democracy, a prosperous, just Syria that cares for its citizens, the best benchmark is the minorities, is the Christians, is the Druze, is the Alawites, is the Kurds. How does this country treat the minorities will tell you if they're going the right way or not. We cannot be giving them money just hoping that since we started giving terrorists money, they're going to start behaving. This never worked. It didn't work in Afghanistan. If you look at the videos from the Taliban, since America have left, every week we have heartbreaking news. It started with women can't go to universities anymore, and then little girls can't go to school, and then women and girls need to cover themselves with a hijab, and then women and girls can't even show their faces, and now girls are not even allowed to talk because the sound of a female might tempt a good, kind-hearted Muslim and lead him into temptation, so he will commit a terrible sin. So the blame is on the woman. Now, this is what happened in Afghanistan. I can tell you for sure that Syria is right behind them. If we don't pay attention to what's happening in Syria and we just simply start giving them money, we're going to end up having Syria the next Afghanistan. We're going to end up having Syria genociding minorities, crushing human rights. This is not the way to do it. Now, I am all for a great Syria. I really hope that they manage to grab themselves together and make it a good country, but this needs to be a cornerstone. This needs to be something that is very easily measurable. And what cause can be better and easy to measure than the students in Syria? Let's start with that. Let's start small. Can they go back to universities? You know, we've seen these videos of these young students fleeing for their life, mass migrations, running away from Damascus because some of them got kidnapped, murdered, stabbed, and now they're sitting home. These young girls that just had a dream to become a lawyer, a pharmacist, a doctor. These young men that just wanted to study engineering or study agriculture are sitting home right now, wasting the most precious, important years of their life, and they can't go home. And mainstream media is not talking about it. No one is mentioning it. Everybody's saying, oh, great, we're removing sanctions. Now, you see, this is the biggest achievement for Syria since the fall of Bashar al-Assad, the removing of the sanctions. Now they can get money running to the country. But the problem here is, at what cost? Imagine if Osama bin Laden would have kidnapped the country after 9/11 and then come and said, we want to start a democracy, and the US and Europe will start going, meeting him, shaking his hand, and sending him billions of dollars of money. That will sound crazy. That is the same thing that happened with Jolani. Jolani, El-Shara, was part of ISIS, part of Al-Qaeda. He was even sent back to Syria by al-Baghdadi and told to take over Syria, which, if you think about it, he kind of did. Yes, him and Baghdadi kind of split it and he started his own version of a terrorist organization, but he still managed to take over Syria. And what are we doing right now? Rewarding him with the removing of sanctions so that radical people in Syria can rage havoc and take over this country and eliminate every minority. Your tax-paying money might be very well right now supporting the oppression and the killing of Christians, of Alawites, of Druze, of Kurds, of different minorities that are living in Syria. Now, I'm not asking them to love Israel, love the Jews. That's a far stretch, but that's a very good start. If they show that, any country that ended up normalizing relationship with Israel and respecting Israel is prosperous. Any country that is still fixated on destroying Israel and killing the Jews is spiraling down and just becoming another failing Muslim country in the Middle East. A good benchmark is, what is this country saying about Israel and how is this country treating minorities? And we need to push forward that all eyes on the Druze in Syria, all eyes on the Christians in Syria, on the Alawites, on the Kurds, on the minorities in Syria. And that would be the proving point if that country is trying to become a better country or is becoming a worse country. In Afghanistan, they left without checking, and look what's happening. It's actually quite easy, and I can't believe that I need to give government some kind of lessons of how to understand the Middle East, but guys, this is the way. There's no other way around it. So if you're looking to support the minorities, if you want to actually hope to make Syria a better country, you need to push forward this narrative. The minorities in Syria are the testing ground. They will show us if things are getting better or if things are getting worse. Now, to give you an example, this is not that far-fetched. There is a program in Israel that is allowing Palestinians, even some Gazans were allowed to come to Israel so they can study, so they can have university degrees. So if Israel is willing to help Palestinians, which obviously support October 7, why can't they help the Druze in Syria? We're talking, you know what? If you don't want to bring them into Israel, although that is possible, then let's start pushing for some kind of online courses, trainings. Where is the Europeans? Where is Greta Thunberg with their sailing boats? Why aren't they trying to help these young men and women that only want a future for themselves, that are living in a terrible reality and want to create a better future for themselves? That is a cause that is worth our time, and I want to encourage people, share this video and help amplify their voice so they're not being forgotten and falling under the chairs, because that's what's happening right now. Everybody's getting focused again back with Russia and Ukraine, the end of the world, apocalypse, South Africa with their crazy ideas, and I don't know what. Things are changing really fast, and it's very easy to forget these minorities and also to forget steps that are happening right now as we speak and will have serious consequences to the future. Syria, if you want to become a better country, show us that you can be a better country. And you're so lucky that you have the opportunity that's called the minorities. Show us that you respect them. Show us that you empower them. Show us that you protect them. Show us that you treat them like equal citizens, that you give them the tools to build a better life and to live a secure and prosperous and peaceful life in your land. And that is all I have to say about that. So until then, guys, stay safe and don't do anything stupid. And in general, just don't kidnap students and try to murder them. Yeah, that's not a good thing. That's not a smart thing to do. Girls should not be afraid that they will go to university and become sex slaves, and men should not be afraid that they go to university and get stabbed, kidnapped, and asked for ransom, or forced to convert to Islam or die. That is not a government that you want to financially support. Call me crazy, just a thought.